Lads, lasses and the rest of the masses, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mono from Mono CFC and this is my match preview for Chelsea versus Liverpool. This is the series on the channel where I'll be previewing every match of this season, laying out my expectations, lineups and more. Welcome back to the lead-in. It's our first game of the Premier League season, which sees Chelsea starting off the campaign with a home tie against Liverpool at Stamford Bridge. Considering all the transfer activity in recent days, this one is bound to be a spicy affair. As always, I'm going to be going through the lineups that I believe will play, including personnel and their tactics. So, without further ado, let's firstly look at our opponents for this match. Liverpool came 5th in the league last year, earning themselves Europa League football after admittedly having a poor start to the season. A change in tactics/formation, which I'll get onto later, really did them wonders towards the middle/latter stages of the season, and unlike Chelsea, they turned it around and climbed up the table. Last season, both home and away legs ended in bore draws, 2 0-0s that were surprisingly competitive considering how poor Chelsea were last season. Both teams will be looking to improve upon that, with the clubs now going 6 games in a row drawing with each other over 90 minutes. Liverpool have done some pretty good business in the transfer market so far. Dominic Szoboszlai and Alexis McAllister are great additions in midfield, but they have hemorrhaged players so far and as of recording have the smallest squad in the entire league, losing key players too, such as Henderson, Fabinho, Milner and Bobby Firmino. As I discussed in my Premier League predictions, which you can watch by clicking the link in the top right hand corner or in the description for those of you on mobile, despite this they had a very decent pre-season, scoring a bucket load of goals but also conceding a fair few too. They won 3 of their games, drawing once and losing once to Bayern Munich. Over the course of the pre-season campaign, they scored 19 goals and conceded a considerable 10. They will look to improve upon this record as they move into the Premier League season. So how will they plan on trying to achieve that? Let's look at the team. Liverpool, managed by German Jurgen Klopp, have, as discussed earlier, switched their formation up in recent times. Usually playing a 4-3-3, they have started opting for a 3 at the back system in possession, which I will detail more in a little while. For the start, I will be putting them into a 4-3-3, but don't expect them to play like this during the game as the formation quickly shifts into a 3-4-3. First up in goal for this Liverpool team is the easiest selection to make. Alisson Becker starts for Liverpool every and any day of the week. For the back 4, it's going to be very strong, with all 4 being who I believe will start the majority of league games this season. At right back they will play Trent Alexander-Arnold, who will not be staying in this position for very long. The centre-back pairing of Ibrahima Konate and Dutchman Virgil van Dijk will solidify the centre of the defence, with the fiery Scotsman Andrew Robertson starting at left back. Moving into the midfield, this is a bit of a tricky one because of the aforementioned system change during play, but I believe both of their new signings will start, meaning Curtis Jones will likely play in the deeper role here as quite frankly they don't have any other options due to injuries and lack of signings, with Alexis McAllister and Dominic Szoboszlai playing ahead of him. Again, they won't actually play like this, but for the sake of a starting 11 this is where they will end up. Finally, the 3 up top. I'm going to be sticking with what I believe is their strongest front 3, the ever-present ex-Chelsea man Mohamed Salah on the right, Cody Gakpo on the left, and down the centre, the pacey Uruguayan Darwin Núñez. In terms of how Liverpool play, they are pretty notorious for being one of the best gegenpressing teams in the league. Winning the ball back quickly with immense pressure, they like to play patient, possession-based football with a focus on utilising the wide areas, whether that be with their talented creative fullbacks or deadly goal-scoring wingers. I don't want to talk too much about Liverpool because we've seen how they play for a number of years and that largely hasn't changed, but I'll go into a few main tactical points about Liverpool's setup because a few things are quite interesting. Firstly, let's address the elephant in the room, Trent Alexander-Arnold's position. In recent times, Klopp has been inverting him into midfield, swapping from this 4-3-3 into a 3-4-3 in possession. It's no secret that Trent is not the best defensively, and this new position not only allows him time and space to look up and play devastating passes, but relieves him of the majority of his defensive duties, with Konate on this right hand side protecting the right flank, and the 3 other midfielders doing all the counter-pressing that Klopp likes to do. The majority of their play is started by Trent hitting these long diagonal balls into the wings or direct passes into the half spaces, so we will have to be mindful of giving him time on the ball. There is a slight weakness to this game plan, and that's that Liverpool seem very suspect at defending counter-attacks, with these spaces opening up if they press too high, or if one of the fullbacks, mainly Robertson, commits further forward than needed. Against Chelsea, I think this is going to be a mistake, as we have shown in pre-season that we are ready, willing and able to counter-attack at speed with the likes of Mudryk, Sterling and Jackson running in behind to great success. Liverpool's defence in pre-season has not been the best, and unfortunately for them they still do not have a destroyer-style 6 in the middle like they had with Fabinho, who was a large part of why they were so successful. That lack of a DM I think is going to be a big blow for them in this game, especially considering how good our midfield is. Now from the Reds to the Blues, let's talk about Chelsea. Real quick, if you're enjoying the content and want to see more, please consider subscribing to the channel. This helps support me and the creation of videos like this one, and we are less than 400 subscribers away from 15,000, so hit that red button and join the masses. Starting with the formation 4-2-3-1 once again, once the season is in full swing I'm just going to assume that we will set up in this way and not mention it, because this seems to be the formation that Pochettino will continue to use throughout the campaign, especially against the bigger teams like Liverpool. So first up in goal, I'm going to be putting in for his Chelsea debut Robert Sanchez. Though he has not had a lot of time to prepare for this one, Pochettino has said that either of his goalkeeping options could play in this one, and as Kepa is currently the subject of a move away to Bayern or Real Madrid, I think Poch would like to avoid playing him with his mind elsewhere. We will also need to start settling into our definitive first 11, and I think Sanchez is more likely to be our number 1 in the near future. For the back four, this will be a very strong one. We will need the defensive astuteness of Reece James on that right hand side in order to shut down the pacey and powerful Cody Gakpo, as well as his leadership in this brand new role as Chelsea club captain. Though he is brilliant, I don't see Malo Gusto starting in this one, as James will almost definitely play the first game as our captain. For the centre-backs, it's going to be a familiar pairing of the ever-impressive veteran Thiago Silva next to Chelsea's new number 26, Levi Colwill. There is the option of playing new signing Axel Disasi in the right centre-back role, but I feel as if he needs a little more time to settle in before getting a start. On the left-hand side, it's going to be vice-captain Ben Chilwell, as he plays a massive part into how we operate as a team, as I'll get onto later. For the midfield, I think we're getting that same midfield pivot of Enzo Fernandez and Andre Santos, though I wouldn't be surprised to see Conor Gallagher get another start, as he was actually very impressive in the pivot against Dortmund in pre-season. There is the option for us to play new signing Leslie Ugochukwu in the 6 and let Enzo play further forward, but like Disasi, I think he'll need a little bit more time to settle in before playing in the first team. With the likes of Caicedo and Lavia looking likely to join Chelsea before the game on Sunday, it remains to be seen which of our midfielders are in Poch's plans, as we could see a few exits before the end of the transfer window. As a side note, I think we absolutely need to show off Lavia and Caicedo before kick-off at the Bridge, as this will lift the morale in the stadium and be a big spit in the face to Liverpool, who were after both of these players but missed out. Mind games and the psychological side of football is an often overlooked aspect of the game, and this could help us get off to a good start with the roar of the crowd behind our team. For the 3 attacking midfielders, I'm going to be firstly putting in a player I personally don't want to see here, but I believe Poch will play, and that's Raheem Sterling on the right hand side. Despite him being quite obviously our worst player for us in pre-season, Poch has continued to put his faith in the Englishman, and he will likely relish the idea of playing against one of his former teams, who will undoubtedly boo him to no end. I would prefer to see Noni Madueke play here, but with his lack of game time in pre-season due to a slight knock, I reckon he'll instead get some reintroductory minutes off of the bench. On the left hand side, I'm going to be going for our most impressive left winger during pre-season, the much improved and now motivated number 10, Mykhailo Mudryk. I think Misha has the perfect opportunity to start his season off with a bang, with his pace and runs in behind being a deadly weapon that he can use to great effect against Liverpool's high line. A goal here would be massive for his confidence going forward, and overall I just think he links up best with our striking options. In the central attacking midfield role, I'm going to be putting in Ian Maatsen. Poch has shown continued faith in the young Dutchman, starting him in all but one of the pre-season games, in a variety of attacking positions. He was one of, if not the best player for us in pre-season, and I think he's more than earned his place in the starting 11. As Nkunku looks set to be out until January, Maatsen has the opportunity to claim this role as his own for the time being. I think he will be interchanging with Sterling on the right hand side to provide us with a left-footed option there if needed, and will continue his great form from pre-season in this one. Finally, up top in the striker role is I don't even have to say it, do I? Nico Jackson. Nico Jackson is going to be leading the line for us this season in my opinion, and that makes me incredibly happy because I've supported this man since before day one and he continues to prove me right with excellent performance after excellent performance. Like Misha, his runs in behind will be an issue for Liverpool's high defenders, and his insanely good link-up play, hold-up play and finishing should be more than enough to get past their relatively leaky defence. I genuinely don't think we need to bring in another striker like is rumoured, unless Broja has another setback and can't play as the backup to Jackson. As for how we will play, I think we are going to have a rather straightforward game plan, similar to how we played against Dortmund, but before I talk about that, it's time for the question of the day. Now the season has started, I will be returning to doing comments of the day, so if you want your comment to be featured in the next video, leave your response down below with QOTD at the start. So, for this week's question of the day, we'll go for a simple one. What would you change from this starting 11 and why? Alright, so how will we play? I have spoken at length on the specifics of Poch's 4-2-3-1 in previous videos, but as a small refresher I'll break down a few of the tactical nuances that Poch likes to employ in this one. Poch's 4-2-3-1 has adapted slightly from his time using the formation at Tottenham, but the focus on getting his fullbacks high up the pitch has not changed. Ben Chilwell has been bombing up the pitch in pre-season, changing the formation into a 3-2-4-1 in possession, with James on the opposite side almost playing like a hybrid between a right back and a right centre back. Poch's team loves to play out from the back, inviting pressure and trying to play around it, with Enzo Fernandez being the anchor that helps us progress forward. Once the press is beaten, we opt for long balls into the wide areas, or through the lines up to our striker, where we can then play intricate, fast-paced passing football. In many ways, our team functions quite similarly to Liverpool's, with our focus being on stretching the play with our wide players, but filling the centre of the pitch with our attackers. I think this game will be quite tactical, with two sets of teams both opting to try and play through each other, rather than around each other. In this game in particular, though we are a possession-based team, I could see us opt to be a bit more pragmatic, sitting back and letting Liverpool have the ball in order to exploit them on the counter-attack. Playing through Liverpool once they have numbers back is a very difficult task, and playing balls into the box from wide areas doesn't seem optimal either, with their large central defenders Van Dijk and Konate in the area to defend crosses. If we are to have success in this game, I think we'll have to defend well, be calm under pressure, and hit long through passes past the defenders in order to bypass them. I think this game is going to be one of those classic Liverpool barn burners of yesteryear, with them being electric in attack but slightly shambolic in defence, and I can see this game having multiple goals despite the previous games going scoreless. As ever, I will be live tweeting my reactions to the match over on Twitter, so if you do not follow me over there, make sure you do so you do not miss that. And as a reminder, after the game on Sunday I will be doing live GBU. About 30 minutes after the game finishes, I will be streaming on this channel, but if you can't make it to the stream, do not worry, all of the streams will be uploaded as VODs on this channel. For a score prediction, I do genuinely believe we will draw this game, probably 2-2, but I never bet against my own team, so I'm going to say 3-2 Chelsea. I do think this will be a fast-paced game, playing almost like basketball with lots of back and forth attacks, and will be a joy to watch from a neutral's perspective. I'm going to say that our goals will come from Mudryk and Jackson with a brace. For Liverpool, I think Salah will once again pop up with a goal, as he seems to always score against us when he plays, along with a goal for new man Alexis McAllister. But that was just my lead-in match preview for Chelsea vs Liverpool. Thank you ever so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on these possible lineups in the comment section below, and if you'd be so kind, subscribe to the channel and leave the video a like if you enjoyed. Don't forget to tap the notification bell so you never miss a video from me, or check out some of the other videos on the channel on screen right now. I've been Mono from MonoCFC, and remember, in the rain or in the dry, keep that blue flag flying high. Come on you Blues.